Welcome to the Game 365 podcast. We got a special guest, credit guru, financial literacy giant that I think, because I had to have her on here since everybody else was scared to pop this shit. You know, Miss Dakisha, how you doing?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling blessed, highly favored, guided, and protected. How you doing,
That's
King?
a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. To start off, can you give everybody your social media, where to follow you? You can plug some of your business or whatever, you know, they can find you. So when they hear what you got going on and what you preaching, they can say, oh, I want to go. Let me go get her. Let me see. So you can plug in your socials or whatever you got.
Okay, for sure. My name is Dakisha. I'm Dakisha on all platforms. So Dakisha on Facebook, Dakisha on Instagram, Dakisha on YouTube, and Dakisha on TikTok. I am a consumer law coach. I'm a consumer law advocate, and I'm for the people of the community for the most part, you know, because, you know, I am part of my community and I'm only as big and as great as my own community. Mm-hmm. So what I do is I teach people their rights as far as their rights to privacy as it relates to credit reporting, as it relates to their consumer rights just in general, interactions with corporations, such as financial institutions, lenders, etc. And I teach them how to control their consumer reports as Congress designed and always intended for us to do.
Well, let's go back. Let's go back to Baby Don. Growing up, where you from?
I'm from California originally.
Oh, okay. Shout out to Cali.
The Bay Area.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Tell me when to go.
Yeah,
So, how was it growing up in California? What part of the Bay Area, if you mind me asking?
So I was born in Monterey, in the Monterey County,
Monterey
and then
County.
We moved to the San Frisco area. Yeah. But I moved out to Seattle at a young age. I was about 13, 14 years old when I came.
What's that, like 6th grade, 7th grade or something? Or what, 8th, 9th,
going into 8th,
your birthday over,
7th going into 8th.
Oh, okay, that's what's up.
My dad's from Seattle. He's a Seattle native. So,
that's what's up.
Yeah. So my mom, you know, I had a pretty rough childhood. My mom was struggling with drugs and alcohol and all of that. So she was in and out of jail, prison, and all of that. I kind of grew up with my grandma, all my cousins. We grew up like siblings. You know, it was fun times. You know, even though it was a tragic time. You know, it was kind of fun.
Make the best of it though.
At the same time, yeah. So my dad ended up kind of just stepping in and sending for me to come live out with him out here in Seattle with his wife. My dad's a pastor, so
that's what's up.
Shout out to Miracle Temple Ministries. Anyhow, he sent for me to come live with him out here, and you know, I came out to Seattle. I started 8th grade here in Seattle.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Went to high school here in Seattle as well. Went to Ingram, then Cleveland. And then I, believe it or not, dropped out of Cleveland because I got pregnant. I was a teenage mom, 17 years old. I got my GED.
Got to do what you got to do now.
And she was shining bright like a diamond ever since. You feel me?
It's a beautiful thing.
Yes, sir.
So at that stage, did you take to money? Did you take to anything that had to do with finances, or did you just come later on in life? But I just want to know, because sometimes we find our roots in some of the things that we do later on in life early, but we just didn't realize it, you know?
No, actually, you know, no one really taught me anything about financial literacy, which is part of why I have such a huge passion for my community, because I know we also lack that, you know. My dad, although, you know, my dad had a 800 credit score, you know, he'd get up, go to work every day and own his home and retired and all that. He didn't really understand financial literacy. He just kind of thought that, you know, if I get up every day and go to work and pay these bills on time, I should be all right. But he didn't have a greater understanding at all, so he was not able to pass that information down to us, unfortunately. And, of course, my mom definitely didn't. I'm helping her still right now to this day gain an understanding. So what happened and how I got into this is I was in a long-term relationship. And then we were it was coming to an end, my transportation, I had a Mercedes-Benz ML 500. I give my testimony all the time.
Talk. This is what we're here for, the public.
I had an ML 500. My baby daddy, shout out to my baby daddy, he had gave me 10 bands to put down on the Mercedes-Benz, but my credit was so bad that I still had like a $600 a month car payment. So I'm trying to make this payment. I'm trying to pay the insurance. I'm trying to take care of the kids. I'm trying to do everything. And I'm struggling from heartbreak. You know what I'm saying? My car ended up breaking down. I didn't have the money to get it fixed. And so they ended up repossessing it, and it was all bad from there.
Man, that's where you felt that first, little bit with how they play with you.
I couldn't get approved, not even for a cell phone. That's how bad my credit was. I was in despair. I mean, it was that was the lowest time I think of my life. I ended up I had a little moving company at the time, so I've always kind of engaged in entrepreneurship.
That's a blessing. That's beautiful.
Yeah, shout out to my big mama. She was the one that
she
was the one that put that, instilled that in me. I couldn't give to my business because I didn't have no transportation. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, dang, I gotta fix my credit. I gotta figure out what's going on with this credit situation, because this is gonna change the game for me. You know what I'm saying? So I started studying about credit. And I ended up getting evicted out of my apartment. Me and my kids had to go live with my oldest daughter. I got a grown daughter, 26 years old. So I told you I had her at 17. So, we went to go stay with her for about 3 months. I'm a hustler, so it didn't take me no time to bubble.
We're going to figure this out.
Oh, yeah. Any means necessary.
Talk
you know what I'm saying? That's how I was moving back then.
Real talk.
I was up probably, 20 bands, maybe 2 months into it. You know what I'm saying? And so but I still didn't have that credit piece yet. And I remember telling my kids, like, you guys, my credit's going to hit any day now. You know what I'm saying? And my kids was used to their mom hustling, having money. So they was like, you need to get a job. Maybe you need to get your business back. It don't look like it's working out, And I was like, no, I just felt it in the pit of my soul. You feel me? I was like, no, it's going to hit. And baby, when that thing hit, my credit score shot up 273 points.
What?
Heck yeah.
Well, let's stop there. I don't mean to cut you off, but let's stop there. So when you not just felt it in who you were as a woman, but when you seen it on whether it was TransUnion, Credit Karma, whatever it was at that time, how did that come across your whole train of thought that transferred and who you become today? Because I know something in your soul and your intelligence and your wisdom said, you know what, there's something here within this realm of dealing with credit, finances, and stuff that I can be a testament to other people, men, women, whoever the case may be. You might start off with family, you never know, but so I want to ask you that question,
So that goes right into the next part of the story.
Okay. See,
I had no car. I had no car. I was driving my oldest daughter's car, and I went to the Lexus dealership, and I drove off that mug, no money down, no payment for 3 months. The car payment was $200 a month, so easy peasy for me to be able to make. And I remember driving down I-5, and I was coming from Bellevue, the Lexus dealership in Bellevue, and I was driving down I-5, and my phone rang, and it was the bank, Washington State Employees Credit Union. They called. They said, "Hey, Miss Jackson." I'm like, "Oh, where I'm from, you know what I'm saying?" I'm like, "Oh." Man, it was too good to be true. I'm thinking they finna hit me with some bad news, right? Yeah. She said, "Miss Jackson, we pre-qualified you for a $20,000 credit card with that same credit pool that we did for your auto loan, and we send you the card, or you can come pick it up. If we send you the documents as soon as you sign it, you still have time." Yeah. And I said, "What?" And I was.
You start singing, "I'll be there."
Listen. Woo, call me. You feel me? I said, "Lord have mercy." And the tears just started flowing down my face because I had tussled through such a difficult time, and I really, really didn't see a way out. Yeah. And I seen the light at the end of the tunnel. I went from not having no car, being broke and everything, to having a car, no car payment, to 20,000. You know what I'm saying? Credit card. You feel me? Yeah. And I had some money. I had hustled up some money by this time, but I'm thinking I ain't got no furniture. I ain't got no car. $20,000. It seemed like it's a lot of money, but when you ain't got nothing,
you get cutting into it.
Man, it ain't really that much money. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm thinking ahead down the road, like I got to pay my rent, all this. I don't got no lane really right now. I'm still trying to figure it out, And the tears just started flowing down my face because it was like somebody turned the light switch on my life. Like I had been navigating in the dark, you know what I'm saying, all the way up until that point, and suddenly somebody turned the light switch on. Ooh. I started applying for other cards, loans, lines of credit. I was getting approved. I was never getting denied.
Yeah.
And my whole life changed. And I said, oh my God, I got to put my people on.
That's a beautiful thing.
That's what it did it for me.
Yeah, and that's unique within itself, because a lot of people will hold that tight and keep it in a box or in a bag and tight and like I got this game, but being able to give back and want to help other people, and it's like Harriet Tubman. Come on, the Underground Railroad of credit.
I call myself, the modern day Harriet Tubman.
You see what I'm saying? And I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
But you see what I'm saying, though?
Yeah.
So that's a beautiful thing. So let's talk about some of the things that inspired you to keep going and to reach back, because where did you start? Was it with mom? Was it with uncle? Was it with your cousin, the guy or whoever you was dealing with at the time? Was it with one of the babies? I mean, how did you even decide to say, I'm going to not practice on you, but I'm going to see how what I did works on you, because now you're a whole different entity within, that situation of building credit?
Well, like Jesus, you're never celebrated in your own, home, in your own community. So it took for me to just jump out on social media and start posting my own results. People started cop the A7, you know what I'm saying? I showed out on social media in the A7 with the 22s, what it do.
You feel me? Yeah.
Showing them it was real. You know what I mean?
It'll make you a believer.
You feel me? I'm going to show you it's real, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I unfortunately, in our community, they need to see things like that in order for them to believe that it's real, So I start doing those things, and then I ventured off into I had a friend of mine that told me, stop, spending so much time on Facebook and go venture out onto Instagram, because you're going to reach your reach is going to go much further.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I got on Instagram. I started posting my videos, talking my shit, spitting them laws and showing them screenshots and them results, testimonials, etc. And man, I just kind of blew up. People start following me, people that I didn't even know. Can you fix my credit? Can you fix my credit? I'm like, oh man, I created a whole lane, what I'm saying, for myself, a stream of income that I've been rocking with now for like 6 years.
Oh,
now
6
my
years
family just now came around full circle.
They just finally believe it?
They just now coming around, like humbling themselves. I think it was a matter of just kind of the pride, ego, like
I can't have my niece, my whatever working on mine.
Daughter,
letting her really see what I got going on.
Exactly.
Pride.
Exactly. But they like, shoot, they didn't broke that thing down. Now they didn't came all the way around. So I've been lately putting my family on.
That's good. That's good.
But shoot, I've been putting everybody on. Anybody that's trying to get put on, I'm putting them on.
We was just talking before you got here. We was like, shit, we're going to have to get tagged in the game. Shit, because it's never, you do business credit too?
No, I don't do business credit.
But you got to start with what you're saying, because I've been having a business for 5 years, and they always talking about PG.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
you need personal good credit.
I was just going to say that. So I'd work with a lot of people to do business credit. Shout out to Seattle Tycoon, my homeboy Brandon. He does business credit, and the thing is that you have to you don't have to. There's a longer process that you can do to build your business credit. I have business credit. I got good business credit. I just got approved for the no limit, baby, American Express.
Talk to me. Where we going? Look.
The business degree, no limit. You feel me? Say,
Hey, Master P gonna be like,
but it wouldn't have been possible if I didn't have that A1. Facts, you know what I'm saying? Personal profile. So I work with a lot of business credit guys that build business credit, help people build business credit. There's ways that you can go about doing it. You can get a lot of net 30 accounts and that sort of deal. Order stuff, pay it back, but that's a really long process. You could skip straight to the good part. If you just build your own personal profile up, and then you just personally guarantee that thing. Build your personal credit up so strong by personally guaranteeing that you can refinance everything out to where now you're not attached to it at all.
Talk to me. So what about the people that are discouraged, like you said, kind of how your family was at that time, that are discouraged by a repo? I'm discouraged by the Victoria's Secret credit card I got in high school. I'm discouraged by the credit card that I got because I didn't know, but they said I can get 1,100 or blah, 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 whatever. But now that I'm in a position to make this move, my pride won't allow me to let somebody close to me or somebody that is of the same color because everybody thinks they're going to frown down on them and because they ain't been handling their business because we're in the day and age 2024 where everybody got to make it seem like they're doing better and doing things that they're not doing. So that's the last thing a motherfucker want to do is expose the fact that I got a 500 credit score to my own people. They rather go deal with a other person, you know what I mean, in one of their offices or one of their companies and let them handle it because there's no connection, there's no none of this color, you know what I'm saying? So let's talk about that though.
Well, I would say there's three things I want to say to that. One, I always, I'm very transparent on all my platforms, and I'm transparent when I'm doing my one-on-one consultations with potential clients and letting them know, just kind of where I came from. I don't have a judgmental bone in my body when it comes to credit because I there's a little joke that I say all the time. It kind of lightens the tension, you know what I'm saying, when I have folks like that on the call or on my Zoom. Who is it? Cheryl, the beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb. You name it. I make a joke. Look, I had repos, evictions, child support. Look, I had it all. Shit. You name it, I had it.
All the shit.
I have not seen a profile yet that was worse than mine was when I started my journey. So don't feel no type of way coming to me because how could I look down? And this is the reason why I feel like God had me at that place so that I would always be humble and I would never look down on nobody because how could I? I ain't seen nobody's stuff worse than mine. Mine has been the worst thus far in 6 years and I didn't help the hundreds of people. You feel me? That's one. The second thing that I would say is when it comes to credit repair businesses, unfortunately, there are a lot of people out here that don't really understand credit repair, really. Credit repair is really about understanding consumer law. It is not about a trick. It is not about a loophole that you found because that will play out eventually. What people don't understand is consumer reporting agencies, right? They're corporations. They are not. They're not affiliated with the government in any type of way. They're a paid service. So they benefit and profit off of your negative information. So they got a dog in the fight. So they're constantly reevaluating and resituating, rechanging up their processes and procedures for those that are figuring out little loopholes, right? The way you really win is learning your rights. There's a saying in court. And it's actually based on a law maxim is if you don't know your rights, you don't have none. Right? Ooh-wee. And it stems from the ignorance of the law is no excuse is where that stems from. Right? So if you don't know that you have rights, then you don't have any in this country. You got to know your rights. And when you know your rights, then you know how to enforce them. And that's what I teach people. There ain't no, well, it might work and it might not. Because we ain't rolling no dice. You know what I'm saying?
You ain't coming to the casino with dealing with me, huh?
No, absolutely not. We're enforcing the law 100-fold. And if they ain't gonna bow out, we going to court. You know what I'm saying? Period.
We're gonna keep pressing play, huh?
Absolutely. Every time. And I got plenty of, receipts on my social media platforms
where I've been seeing them.
So I folks settling. They settle.
I seen you post somebody with my name. I thought it was me. I ain't even. Hey, he said Terrell. I said, God damn, what I get? I said, hold on, let me check my. Nah.
Shout out to Terrell because I think his credit score shot up to an 842.
Man, them was good numbers right there. Woo, them was good numbers. So.
I would say, rock with me because I know what I'm doing, and I'm a woman of integrity. So if, I mean what I say and I say what I mean and I do what I say I'm going to do. And if I can't for some reason, I'm going to let you know.
Yeah,
I'm
going to try to get it figured out.
Correct.
I respect that.
So, that's what I would say to anybody having hesitations about, one, their ego, pride. Don't worry about all of that. You know what I'm saying? Because pride, number one, comes before fall.
Talk to me.
You know what I'm saying? And you can't get help if you don't be transparent with what you got going on. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
That's there. And then I done been there. So there definitely no reason for you to be feeling no type of way. And I'm very, very, like, when it comes to people's personal business, I post screenshots, but only with permission. I have a lot of testimonials that people don't see just because people
I don't want nobody in my business.
Yeah, and
I got a cousin that want me to co-sign on.
And I respect privacy, because that's what I push and that's what I preach is privacy. You know what I'm saying? So I walk it like I talk it now. You know
what's up. That's a blessing.
That's what I was saying.
Let's to the people that may know, may not know, but need understanding, let's talk a little bit about the consumer law you was just speaking on.
Absolutely. So we all have the right to privacy, right? There's a thing called the Privacy Act. The Privacy Act is rooted in the Constitution. All right. So I believe it's the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution that we have the right to be left alone and forgotten. That's where the Privacy Act comes from. Every man has the right to be left alone and forgotten. Wow. So you don't have the right to be all up in my business unless I say it's okay for you to be in my business. We also all have the right to contract in private. So if you go and you finance a loan or take out a credit card or something like that with a bank, that's a private transaction. That's not of public concern.
Wow.
Public concern is the things that are made public, like criminal records. That's why that's public record. You get married to somebody, that's public record. That's a public concern because people have the right to know if you're married or not, right? So you trying to marry somebody else.
Exactly. Hold on, man.
These are things of public concern. Your personal transactions with the bank are not a concern of the public. That's private. That's why they have to get your consent. Right now, under the Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act, which also stems from the Privacy Act, there is a clause. It's 15 U.S.C. 6802, and it says that no financial institution may disclose non-public personal information to any non-affiliated third party unless they have done three things. One, they have to disclose to you that they have the intent to share your information with said third party. Two, they have to give you an opportunity before the information is shared to exercise your non-disclosure option, because you do have the right to say, I don't want my information being shared with that third party. And three, they got to give you instructions on how you can exercise that non-disclosure option. Financial institutions do not want people to know this. They never provide you with this disclosure. The only time I've seen financial institutions is a bigger umbrella than what we think. Because car dealerships are financial institutions, insurance companies are financial institutions. Any corporation or entity engaged in financial things is considered to be a financial institution under the Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act. So that's a lot of companies, right? But as it relates to banks and lenders, right, I have never seen in 6 years them provide a truthful disclosure, even one at all, right, that complies with the Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act, because they do not want you to know that you have that right to opt out of credit reporting, because that's their leverage. If think about it, what is the biggest motivator for you to pay your bills and pay them on time? The fact that if you pay late, they're going to report that late payment, right? So if you you can opt out of credit reporting altogether, what's going to stop you from saying, well, I'll pay it when I pay it. I see you when I see you. Maybe. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly
what's stopping. What's the recourse? Crazy. There is no recourse. Now, it goes a lot deeper because, securities fraud is happening with these financial institutions, you know what I'm saying, all day, every day. It happens in the twinkling of an eye. And there is no such thing as a loan. Okay, banks don't loan money. That's federal law. There's a federal law. It shall be a crime for a bank to loan money. Banks do not loan money. What they do is extend credit. They extend credit.
But it's in the fabrication of a loan.
Correct.
That's the language for it. Is a loan.
Correct. And they using that legal jargon, and
that's what that Black's Law Dictionary, man.
Black's Law. Come on, Black's Law. Shout out to Black's Law.
That Black's Law, man.
Now when they're speaking,
I came across it in the county, but I'm letting y'all know. That Black's Law ain't no joke.
It ain't no joke. 4th, 5th, and 6th edition are my editions that I stick with. But Black's Law breaks it down. Every judge has a Black's Law dictionary behind their chamber. So whenever you get to the nitty gritty of them words, listen, because law is written in a different language. It's written in a language called legal jargon, and it's camouflaged as English. So when you read it, you think you're reading English, but you're actually reading legal jargon. And those
legalese.
correct. And those words that you have been conditioned to believe have a certain meaning, and they may, in the Webster dictionary, have a completely and totally different meaning when it comes to law. So you have the right to privacy. You have the right to opt out of your information being shared with consumer reporting agencies. People just don't know it, and they're banking on your ignorance, right? Yeah. And that's why the Bible says, "In all you're getting, get an understanding," right? Ooh, and that my people will perish for lack of knowledge. Because, and I'm not a religious person. I am very much a spiritual person, though, and I do believe there are truths rooted in the Bible, within the Bible, and we are perishing because of our lack of knowledge. We do have to learn how to understand and operate within the environment that we're in.
Facts.
Right? And so we have the right to privacy. That is our God-given right. The Constitution doesn't give us rights. It protects the rights that God gave us, the ones that we were born with. And we have the right to privacy. So when you realize you have the right to privacy, you realize that you have full and utter control over your consumer report. Imagine how much powerful you would be.
Ooh, that's heavy.
Knowing how to operate.
What, knowing everything you know now in the present, if we can go back in the past, how do you feel that this should be established within the educational system for the kids and for the youth? Because I think that's one thing that's missing up out of these elementary and these middle schools and probably certain high schools around the country is financial literacy and consumer law and credit, as a course within itself. What do you think that they don't teach these things or bring this type of curriculum to the youth and to the children?
I think that it's very much, this is my personal opinion, but I think that it's very intentional. It's the great divide. It's left to be taught at home, in the homes. Yeah. And it is intentionally not given in the schools. These schools are federally funded. And they can only teach what they are allowed to teach, what the federal government allows to teach. And if people are empowered with knowledge, the more we are empowered with knowledge, the more we are free, right? And so they don't want us to be free. They don't want that. They don't want us to be free. Yeah. They want to control, right? Because the more we learn about our rights, the more we learn about history, the more we learn about the truth of what's really going on and who we really are as a people. Because one thing leads to another. That's how it happened with me. I started studying consumer law. Next thing you know, I'm studying contract law. Next thing you know, I'm studying trust law. Next thing you know, I'm studying the Constitution because they're all linked. Next thing you know, I'm studying the UCC. Next thing you know, history is just coming into play, and I'm slavery and how it all happened in the beginning of you've done that. Nah. It's all intertwined. Religion. Now you start finding out, oh my God, this is really how religion, this so created this religion. Like you start learning the truth. Ain't it? It's a real awakening. Yeah. You can't go back. Yeah. So you start really understanding the matrix on a different level because once you take that pill, you can never go back. There was times where I wanted to go back. It was so heavy. Yeah. The awakening was so heavy that I wanted to go back to ignorance is bliss. Yeah. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, so I don't think that they want equality at all. Because they very much are aware these folks aren't slow or the last to know. They know that this is credit is essential. Learning about business, taxes, trust, law, and trust and how to operate. And commerce is essential to survival. You're learning everything else, except for the very things that you need in order to be successful, in order to be free and live life more abundantly, which is what God created us. Yeah. We're all on the pursuit of happiness, and it's very difficult to get there without these key elements. Yeah, so what I would encourage, my community to do is to educate themselves. Parents, start educating yourself. I have a course. It's an online learn at your own pace course. Purchase it, watch it with your family, watch it with your children.
Plug the website in.
Correct. Oh, yep. Go on my social media platforms and in the link in my bio, they can access it. Yeah. They can always shoot me a DM. I don't bite. Talk to me. I talk back. But I would say definitely start educating yourself. That's what I've been doing. Educating my kids. My son is 10 years old, but my oldest is 26. So I've been just empowering them with the knowledge so that I can leave the legacy behind. I want to make sure that whenever my time comes, my kids will be all right because they're going to know how to operate, in commerce. They ain't going to be green, and they ain't going to get molly-bopped, by the system. So that's what I would do. I would encourage, the community to learn, right? Parents start to learn, educate yourself. And then teach your kids. The only thing I would say also, just if you don't know nothing else, get you some trade lines.
Yeah, talk to me. Guarantee.
Get you some trade lines.
A lot of good quality companies and people you can get. If you got an auntie, a mom, a dad,
Grandma,
like you said, 800 credit score, tell them to put you on as an authorized user. I know that myself. So
they don't even have to have an 800 credit score. If they have a credit card that they have good that they've never been late, and it's a good standing, they can add you on as an authorized user. They totally control what access you have. They don't have to let you have a card. They don't have to let you have access to the account. There's no risk involved at all whatsoever. And you can literally piggyback ride on their credit. Like if my dad would have been educated, enough to know that he could have did that for his children when we turned 18 years old. That's what separates us in the black community. Or I don't like calling myself black, but as an Aboriginal, in this Aboriginal community, what separates us is our parents are they weren't taught, so they don't know that when we turned 18 years old, they could have added us onto their credit card as an authorized user. We would have had an instant 750 credit score. Man. So that we go out and go get this car because we need a car because we got to work because we got to help pay for this, pay our way. As soon as you turn 18, mama like, hold on now, you got to start, you grown now, you got to start paying, you got to get you a job, do something, or you trying to go to school, right? You got to pay for your own help contribute towards carrying that weight. You go get that car, now you're struggling with a $300, $400 car payment when it could have been $150, $170.
Facts.
We wondering why, some of these Caucasian kids be driving around in these Lexuses and these Benzes. We
Ninth
think
grade.
it's because,
9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, driving brand new cars.
We thinking it's because they rich. Well, they may be, but it's because their parents put them on. You know what I'm saying? They got that low interest rate. They got that favorable situation. Imagine trying to, if you struggling paying $400 versus how much easier it would be if you were only paying $150, $170, $200. Now when car troubles come around, you're in a better, stronger position to be able to handle that. Versus being like, dang, I'm already strapped and tapped because I'm struggling paying this high car payment every month. I barely got the money to do
got no
any
reserve
of the repair.
cash. I don't got nothing.
Or even the maintenance.
Yeah, real talk.
You know what I'm saying? So add a trade line, you know what I'm saying? And go back and tell them to relook at that thing again, try to see if you get that payment reduced.
Generational wealth. Let's talk about that real
Absolutely.
quick. Let's talk about the dichotomy between cultures when it comes to generational wealth and when it comes to the lack of resources, the lack of finances, and the lack of credit, or just anything as a whole when it comes to, like you said, whether it's black or aboriginals, however you look at it, versus other cultures, because there's people that come in the country, Asians, Indians, certain African background, they come in with low interest rates. They give them what you said is a loan, but it's that line of credit, and they let them get started off top. That's why it be 17 deep in the house, because they all got, you already know. So let's talk about the generational wealth gap between us versus 17 other cultures in America that they let in every day. Because it has to be a trick to this. What's going on?
Well, they're getting a lot. There's a lot of grant funding and free money and stuff like that they give a lot of these people that come, refugees and things that come from other countries that we don't get here. And so that right off the bat, you know what I'm saying, can make all of the difference. You know what I'm saying?
That could have been our reparations right there.
Yeah, absolutely. But I say, when it comes to the reparation, here's the thing, right? This is our land.
Talk
right?
to me.
This is our land.
We here to pop it. I just want to let you know. We here to pop it.
Okay.
I just want to let you know.
Stop
so
it.
Go ahead, do your thing.
This is our land. Listen, the greatest lie ever told is that we were brought here from Africa. This is the greatest lie that's ever told, and a lot of the older Caucasian people know it. I've sat down with a lot of them. They cool ones, keep it a buck with you, and they say, boy, oh boy, the minute your people wake up and realize who you guys really are, it's gonna be trouble in paradise.
I don't mean to cut you off, but what Malcolm X said, we didn't land on Plymouth Rock landed on us.
Yeah.
Interpret it how you want, people.
Listen, there's pyramids here, right here in America. There's pyramids. There's ancient Egyptian pyramids.
Yeah.
That right there tells you that we were already here. Yeah. We were here first.
They came before Columbus.
Absolutely. But, there's a thing called, there's the, you have universal law. You got all different types of laws, right? You got universal law. You got natural law, right? And natural law says whoever's the strongest.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
They came here and punked us out of our land. I'm just keep it real. That's what happened.
Yeah, they did some strategy and gave some blankets away to these guys that had some diseases.
Oh, they had guns.
They did this and that. Yeah, exactly. They had straps.
They had guns. We had bows and arrows. We tried to bring the knife to the gun party. That don't work.
Yeah, that don't work.
You know what I'm saying? So, they just punked us out of our land basically, and we ain't woke up yet and realized what's going on and took a stand. So reparations is not what we need to be asking for. Yeah. What we need to do is we need to rise up as a people, and we need to take a stand. In the meantime, between time, we're probably a ways from that happening, right? Because we're so asleep, and there's all these distractions every day on social media, on TV. You know what I'm saying? Keeping us distracted from waking up.
What's going on with P. Diddy?
Yeah.
What's going on with him and her?
Baddies Club.
Yeah. How come this?
We can't come
Facebook
together.
Facebook just closed down.
Yep.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Then we can't come together as a family. In our communities, the black family has been the target for a really long time because we're stronger together. Yeah. Right? Yeah. We are stronger together. We got black women or Aboriginal women. I don't need a man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. F that Negro, and I can do this by myself, raising these young boys. You cannot raise a man if you are not a man, right? So we're raising these weaker men, right, that are not unable and incapable of being a man because they never been showed what it is to be a man by a man. You know what I'm saying? The fathers are out of the home. We're weakened because the family unit has been weakened. You know what I'm saying? So I say we need to first work on us before we can focus on anybody else and what anybody's doing to us. We need to focus on us and what we're doing to us, right? And once we fix the family unit, then we can be stronger. Then we can focus on educating ourselves. We don't have to worry about no reparations because we can go ahead and figure out how we can maneuver within this mug and take this mug over. Yeah. But we can't do it when we're all separated against each other. We're distracted. We're not focused on the right things. I think it starts with the family unit. Once with the family unit tight together, we're stronger, right? Because you got more income coming in. It's less stress, right? On you as an individual, right? A black man and a black woman come together in unity is the most powerfulest thing, I think.
Is that do you feel that a lot of men and women, that's where their discouragement lies because of finances, though? Because people might want to focus on all these things to take back what's ours, to, ideologically, spiritually, physically. But then they look back and say, damn, I want to do all this, but then I can't tell the landlord that I can't pay because I'm focused on, the big plan.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. That to me, I said to myself, wow, I said, this is crazy. But when you are a self-employed or independent contractor, we could talk about the pandemic very briefly. I think the pandemic woke a lot of people up. I think the pandemic showed a lot of people that they're capable of kind of making their own way because a lot of people that have no choice but to create their own way. You know what I'm saying? And so now you have a whole bunch of people, entrepreneurs, creating lanes for themselves. That creates the opportunity for you to be able to tap into other things. See, I was able to because I was an entrepreneur, there's no way I could have done this working a 9-to-5 job. And I've worked 9-to-5 jobs before, right? It's been a while, but I did used to knock me one, you know?
Guaranteed.
And I always had good jobs, $50 an hour, type like jobs. I didn't work for all the top companies, Microsoft, Boeing, Dairy Gold, etc. You name it, right? But it's still, being a single mom with children, it still just was never enough money. Then I'm tired. Right? You got to get up at the crack of dawn. You got to get the kids ready. You got to get out the door. You got to fight through traffic. You got to get the job. This
exhausted, all type of
You're
shit.
there 9 hours. Then you got to fight through traffic, get home. You got to cook dinner. You got to get ready for the next day. You're doing that 5 days a week. You only get 2 days a week to yourself. And if you're ambitious, you might got a part-time job. Where do you have time to study your body? and learn how to heal yourself?
Yeah.
Where do you have time to study your history and figure out who you really are and where you really come from? Where do you have time to start to study law so that you can defend yourself? Because if you don't know your rights, you don't have none.
Yeah.
Where do you have the time when you're working a 9-to-5 job? I did a video a long time ago, and it was, I think, Eartha Kitt. Someone asked her, she said, what's your dream job? Tell me what's your dream job. She said, darling, I have no dream job. I don't dream of labor. Like, we've been conditioned like a mug. And getting up and working a job, listen, use it as what it's for, right? As a stepping stool. You know what I'm saying? To get you closer to empowering yourself to get that. Because there's always a cap on a job. You can only make there's only so many hours in a day. You know what I'm saying? You can only make so much money. Even if you get a raise, you can only make so much money, right? So you're going to be constantly under the thumb of someone else. You still have a master. When you become your own master is when you create your own lane for yourself. Now you open up windows. When I became my own master and I started working for my own self, I was able to be more present to my children. I was able to get up in the morning and make them breakfast in the morning without being stressed out and yelling and hollering and screaming at them and stressing them out. I was able to run up there to that school about my son.
I got time today.
You know what I'm saying? You playing with my son, making him feel some type of way. I got time today. I was able to learn how to, what foods we need to be actually eating. You know what I'm saying? What foods we're not supposed to be eating. I was able to study and empower myself and get free from the matrix. Only because I'm an entrepreneur. I could have never done it working a 9-to-5 job, honestly. And I think that's all part of the conditioning. The education system is here to condition us to stay in bondage. It's modern day slavery.
Miseducation of the Negro.
Yes.
2 last questions, Don.
Yes, sir.
First one, what's your definition of game? It's the Game 365 podcast, growth, ambition, motivation, excellence. But I want to know from a woman's perspective and where you all come from and the things you're doing today, what's your definition of game?
My definition of game, simply put, is information that'll change your situation.
Ooh-wee. Talk to me. Simple as that.
Simple as that.
Last question before we go out. If you can talk to the young, minority, aboriginal, black women of society today and give them some knowledge, some game, some wisdom, some advice on things that they should do to help themselves become better women in this culture, in this society, in this day and age, take us out with a jewel.
I would say to work on yourself, Queen. Educate yourself. Get in the gym, exercise. Anything that's making you feel insecure about you, work on those things so that you could boost your self-esteem, your confidence, and you can manifest, right, and draw in your partner. Because we all have a soulmate. We all have a partner that has been pre-chosen for us. But you can't be out here a nickel looking for a dime. You feel me? So you got to get yourself on dime level so you can attract, because you are as within, so without, right? As you do that, build your family. Educate yourself, educate your family, and be a strong woman to that man. That's what I would encourage, you know what I'm saying, black young women, Aboriginal women, and Aboriginal men. I would tell them to do the same thing, because we all have something that we're some kind of monkey on our back, right? And it's that thing that always makes us feel like we ain't good enough, like we can't do it, like, it ain't gonna work out for us. It's that negative thing, that's in the back of our minds telling us, no, you can't do it. Whatever things that you got going on with yourself, I don't care what it is. If it's sickness, if it's you just feel you ain't smart enough, if you feel you ain't strong enough, if you I don't know, maybe you got punked in high school, get in that gym.
Get in the gym. Take some Taibo or whatever they call it, Taekwondo or boxing, something.
Heal that. We have to heal ourselves. We got to do the work on ourselves so that we can become whole individuals. Then that way we can be stronger as a unit. And you got to start there. Because you can't with two broken pieces come together, don't make a whole.
Talk to me.
Right?
Talk to me.
So become whole individually. Focus on yourself first, and then you will draw in that partnership. right? And the partnerships, right? Because it could be more than just one partner, right? It could be multiple relationships, friendships, all of the people that build your tribe that are going to make you strong and help you be able to power through and achieve all of the goals that you have. I believe that, we all are given tools that we need in order to be able to get to that next level, whatever it is. God has always already supplied us with those tools. I think sometimes we got to clear out our space so that we can get in that quiet place so that we can recognize the tools that are already there, and then we can recognize how to go about using them to get ourselves to that next level. Because it's all about elevating. It's all about growing. It's all about evolving. We all came here with a mission, all of us. We accepted the mission, right? When we were in the spiritual realm. We were given a task.
Physical time
we were given a mission. And we came here to fulfill that mission, but we have to, I kind of remember the story of Jesus, like when he came, he didn't know who he was at first. He didn't know that he was supposed to be that he was the son of God, and I think he didn't really figure all that out till he was about 12 years old, right? But as he was figuring out and he was living, he was figuring out what his calling was and what he came here for. We all came here with some sort of mission, something that we're supposed to do. Anything and anybody that threatens that doesn't serve your highest good. Remove it from your life and just stay focused on building yourself out, and you will draw in everything that is for you.
Don Dakisha, Game 365 podcast. Thank you,
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
We out.
All right, y'all. Peace out.